I think everyone would agree. One of the most visible billionaires of our time is Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. He is very much known for his roles in Pixar and in Apple, of course, in creating an amazing company that we know as Apple, which really plays a role in all of our lives. He made huge leaps and bounds when it came to the smartphone and the way we listen to music. And a lot of people see Steve Jobs' life and they think, wow, he lived such an incredible life before his death. But the truth is, he had some challenges. Even he would say there were challenges. One of these being that he was adopted. At a young age, he was adopted to a wonderful family who loved him very much. And as he grew up, he had a few challenges because of that, because of this, and also when he got cancer and other things going on in his life, other emotional challenges of being a CEO of a company, of owning and running a company, and it took a lot of pressure from his mind. But Steve Jobs also had a clearing technique. And this was one that was very Steve Jobs, and so you may have heard of it even, and it's called diving into the emotion. Diving into the emotion. A lot of us have this tendency to resist negative emotion, to resist it, to say, ooh, that's bad. I'm not gonna feel it. I'm gonna put it over here. But by resisting it, we don't realize that we're actually strengthening it, that we're making it stronger. You know, that which you resist will persist. Emotions buried alive never die. But by allowing yourself to feel an emotion, next time if you feel sad, it's letting yourself sit there for a moment. You might imagine it like jumping into a dark hole and being terrified, thinking, oh gosh, I can't see the bottom of this dark hole. But by jumping into it, letting yourself feel it and move in it and move forward, you find out that dark hole isn't a hole at all, but a tunnel. And at the end of the tunnel, there's light. This clearing technique is very powerful. It allows you to focus on that, but come through it and find the light at the end of the tunnel, help you clear it, helping you not stay in that blackness and stay in that block for a long time, but really experiencing it. I know personally, an ex-boyfriend used this on me. One time I was very mad at him. He had done something, I can't remember what now, but he had done something and I was mad. And he said, you know what, Madeline? You can be mad at me for 5 minutes. I want you to be as mad as me as you can. He says, I just want you to feel furious at me. And you can express it, but I want you to really feel it. Don't hold back. Let yourself feel it. And I said, oh, boy, will I ever feel that. And I took this moment and I just felt it. And I got angry at him and something happened. At about 3 minutes, I couldn't feel the anger anymore. I couldn't feel upset with him because I had allowed myself to jump in that hole and walk out the other end through the tunnel and saw the light and realized, wow, I guess the reason I was angry wasn't very a big deal. Or I realized that anger wasn't the best solution and now I could find a healthy solution. And this is especially important in the grieving process. If you find yourself grieving, it's not about resisting, but diving in. Steve Jobs was notorious for sometimes yelling, sometimes crying, sometimes just expressing this, but it's because he knew the importance of just diving into that emotion. And it's not keeping it, it's not dwelling. We don't want to dwell on emotion, we just want to feel it. So that's the clearing technique. Diving into the emotion. That's the billion-dollar clearing technique of not letting yourself hold in these emotions, because we all know what happens when you hold it in. So there's your challenge. What could you, next time you face something, I would challenge you to let yourself dive into it in an appropriate time, of course. You might not want to do it at every moment, but when it's appropriate, letting yourself sit in it, letting yourself work through it. I promise you'll see the healing power of when you release these negative emotions by not resisting them. So get out there and start creating that billion-dollar mindset.